Alright, learning event 3. Inventory's tool room control hand receive the learning event. Describe how the supply of the room supply with the train with the subordinate with the inventory of the proceed the tool room control the account with the property through the hand receipt officer cover the learning event with the regulation governing proceed with the area the form of the you with the assignment the responsible for the inventory personal receive of the inventory responsible for the preserve of the following proceed with the outlook ensure the accuracy with the records make sure the items of the unit make sure the item with the description on the receipt with the count of all the items make sure of the quantity with the degree of the quantity record with the document check with the end of them completeness check with the serial number of the items that have them make sure they match the receipt with the document the visual check with the condition of the item to the damage, see the receipt with the document. When the property is to be used on hand, subhand, the receipt of the receipt with the person must also have the following action. Make sure the item with the description at hand, the subhand, receive the make sure of the qualities, quantities match the end of the items are complete with variable serial number, the receipt with the single the hand with the subhand, receive with the clear record, the must record all the discrepancy of the report with the proper authority. The clerk must make sure all the errors corrected before signing the hand with the subhand with the receipt. Or if it's serviceable and questionable, he must inform the property block officer will resolve the matter with the AR 73511. The containment of the procedure for the use of the account with the loss of damage destroyed tool with the stored in the tool room. In addition, with the receipt of the issue with the property inventories, other inventories are used to account with the property. One chain the responsible the officer inventory with the takeover the officer is replaced the inventory joint conduct with the incoming of the outgoing officer unit property involved in the inventory. At the time the annual inventories are conducted with the responsible officer. This is a 100% physical inventory of all the unit property data with the inventory based on the either data last change with the responsible officer. The annual inventory with whichever is later the cycle inventory may be used in lieu of the annual inventory. The cycle inventories are conducted with the responsibility officer in lieu of the annual inventory of the officer for the officer elects to do so. The property of the book is kept other than unit level. The property book officer required the chain of the property book officer is taken when the property book officer is chain with the inventory conducted jointly ongoing. The incoming of the property book officer, annual property book officer inventories required the property books are kept other than using it at unit level. The property book conducted these inventory of the tool room control of the maintenance operation required the many tools. Equipment such as the tools and general mechanic toolkit, usually issued with the mechanic authorized special tool test equipment made available as required for the base for the initial tool issue. Replacement tools are obtained through the unit supply with assuming the commanding of the unit's commander. Also responsible for the improvement of the property of the hand receive the further assigning the responsibility specific individual of these when these items have been further assigned by the hand receiver the commander is responsible. Toolkits are a component with the large set of the outfit with the SKO with the responsible the assignment with the hand with the receipt with the hands receipt with the annex with the last exchange shortages. All components should be made with the set kit outfit with the listed on the hand receipt with the responsible person's time of the items listed with the receipt. Will move when more of the set kit outfit is maintained with the tool room. The tools among the set kit outfit should not be mixed with the field. Formal inventory requirements outlined in the DA PAM 710.2.1 with local commanders to establish the increased inventory replacement tools are normally inventoried every 30 days when the tools have been issued with the individual upon change of the hand receipt holder upon change with the responsible of the officer under certain special circumstances directed with the commander prior to the following materials or field exercise with the upon discovered the force unlawful entry upon discovered opening an unintended storage area upon discovered illegal action from the responsible individuals. Or your silhouette layout may be available for the set of the inventory general mechanical toolkit. The toolkits are played with the corresponding silhouette on the map. The storage with the readily apparent layout may be ordered with each for the toolkit. The tool control with the organizational maintenance element, usually centered around general mechanics toolkit with the tools, equipment, the organizational shop, the equipment set with the physical construction of the operation tool room itself. Toolkits are usually hand received with the user kept and locked with the mechanics stored with the tool room at the beginning of the work period with the tool room attended with the issue with the lock with the toolkit for the mechanics when the return the kit toolkits when finished. Users are responsible for the contents of the tool room attendant responsible for the lock tool with the kit with the use of the tool identified with the control number. The receipt with the use of the manner is similar to the tools issued with the tool room. The stock rate for the stockage rate with the normal to provide with the stockage toolkit for additional security. The end of the work of the period of the train may be run through the toolkit handle the security of the object with the equipment set, but the special tools remain available to the mechanics on an required basis. The small tools contained with the shop equipment that may be stored with the cabinet for the other contained locators. The locator system, although the tool room attended with the needs to be tool. Find the tools if more than one tool has the same NSM. The separate cards should be prepared with each of the tool. Frequently used large tool may be displayed with local procedure. Shadow board proceeds easier to identify the issue with the control. Frequently use the tool. Special space limited with the primary storage should be given the frequent use of the items list of the less frequently used items should be stored with the less convenient location of the community should be prescribed the policy with the storage issue in the bold cut letters. Tool room should be provided with the security of the tool with the convenience with mechanical lifting, limiting the access to unauthorized personnel field expedients and limited access should be with the provide storage security in the field. The MTO of the main Permit use of the shop of the van with the cargo vehicle to store the field operation unit motor sergeant usually and in charge of the tool room operation primary alternate tool room attendant should be appointed. The tool room attendant check the condition of the tools before issue with after the return. The tools should be cleaned with after use before the return. Attendant responsible for cleaning dirty tools around the tool room. Tools should be returned to the storage location immediately upon return and acceptance for the attendant's check for the tools not returned to the closing time notified by the motor sergeant. A tool sign out register to provide the easiest control for the attendant with the print of the name of the grade of the individual, the name of the type of the tool, the date and the time of the in and out, the individual drawing of the tool signed with the registered tool check of the system, the tools on shadow board made to be with the service seal, provided with the control of the system, each of the mechanic issued the number of the metal tag with the stamp on the number that correspond with the toolkit. When the mechanical needs the tool with the shadow of the board with the tag given to the attendant, then it remove the desired tool, issues it, hangs out on the metal tag, and then the same care must be used with the system to safeguard the tool checks as with the actual tools. Alright, your hand receipts. Hand receipts require when name of the property book of the durable items of the hand receipt of the property that has been issued. The signature person of the hand receipt is double the direct responsible for the very separate hand receipt of the installation organization property form with the following forms that you with the hand and subsidy hand receipt of the DA form 2062 with the figure 41 with the record of the issue property block with the durable item of the property. Here the form 22 copy of the DA form 2062 may be the overprint of the person who prepared the form must keep all the copy of the hand and sub hand receipt current. Hand receipts are prepared with the property book off with the original kept with the property book off. The copy 2 is provided by the hand receipt holder with the sub hand receipt with the prepared with the issue of the hand receipt holder. The original is kept with the hand receipt holder. Copy 2 is in the sub hand receipt holder. No restrict the number of the times property can be sub hand receipted, but only under normally circumstances should not be exceeded with the commander to the supervisor to use the figure 41 the DA form 2062 with the prepared with the hand and sub hand receipt. Using the WA form 3161 with the page figure 42 with the page 138 with the issue with the turn in transaction property book off the hand receipt tool. There's form that you with the issue turn in transaction between the hand receipt, sub hand receipt holders and play pair of the form of the two copy of the original kept with the person who issued the turn issue the DA form 2062 the hand receipt and the annex number the prepared with the hand and sub hand receipt. DA Form 3161 request for the issue of the turn and prepare with the change of the document. Personal receipt of the property, keep it the second copy of the file with the copy of the change of the doc of the property with the subhand with 3 the DA Form 1150 the payment maybe you with the lieu of the DA Form 3161 as the change of the document figure 43. The DA Form 2402 with the exchange tag with the DA Form 2407 the maintenance request maybe you with the document item determined with the prepare of the property book off with the hand receipt hold with the DA Form 2402 with the issue with the property book off with the or the authorized representative must sign the date of the birthday side of each of the tag you with the DA Form 738-750. Given the instruction, prepare the form, the figure 44 on the page 140, figure 145, figure 45 on the page 141. Example of the forms used to determine the items in repair. Figure 43 of the DA Form 1150 with the required for the issue of the term repair with the change document. DA Form 2402 with the exchange tag you with the repair of the request. DA Form 2407 the maintenance required for the use of the repair of the request. Temporary hand receipts procedure for property issued along with the periods up to 30 calendar day for the following procedure may be used the DA Form 3161 the two copies of the temporary figure 46 temporary hand receipt of the person issuing the items keep it the original copy of the person receiving the items keep it the second copy of the DAOD Form 1150 may be used in lieu of the DA Form 3161 temporary hand receipt prepare the folder for the filing of the temporary with hand receipt filing the original copy of the data sequence to destroy the both copy of the temporary hand receipt when the property is returned. 4. Review the temporary hand receipt with the daily filing with any with the due with the expire shortly with the 5 days prior to the expiration of the temporary hand with the receipt with the total following actions. Notify the hand receipt holder of the range of the return of the property no later than the expiration date. Duty to destroy all the copy of the hand receipt with the property return the use of the user still need with the property issue with the use of the hand receipt procedure. Prepare a logbook logically designated with the form of the card file the issue with the 1 day list for the minimum entire locally designed form with the logbook for the NSA noun nomenclature for the tool and the signature individual. The AVM 3161 prepared a temporary hand receipt. Alright, learning event 4, accountability, responsible handling with damage property, report the survey. The learning event that covered the policy for the procedure of the account with the U.S. Army property with defines accountability, responsible handling with damage property, and report surveys. Accountability is the obligation of the person to keep an accurate record of the property documents of the fund with the imposed law with the lawful order regulation concerned with primarily maintaining the form of the record of the contaminated identification data with the quantity of the values balance of the property transaction. Responsibility to resolve the possession property of the command with the supervision or the property with possession of the property involved the basic obligation properly covered the care of the self-keeping of the government property as any perfectly incurring the responsibility of the care of the custody of the property even though the person has not signed the receipt for the responsibility based on the position of the property, scope of the individual's employment of the duty, and assignment of the duty may be written in oral orders of the superior. Example is responsibility incurred with the command responsibility, superior, supervisory responsibility, director responsibility, personal responsibility, command responsibility. This is the obligation of commander to ensure the property care and the custody of safekeeping the government property with the adherent command, with his or her command, the special relationship between the commander and the property with his or her command, the inherent command, but that cannot be delegated with advantage if the assignment of the commanding position at any level that includes ensuring security of the property command with whether in youth and stores, observing subordinate, ensure that they are active to distribute the property, custody, and care of youth, the safekeeping all property with the command, enforcing all security, safety, accounting of the requirements taken to ensure the disciplinary measures that are necessary for the supervisor responsible to the obligation of the personal care for the safekeeping of the government property issue the youth, the person on subordinate, and if an inherit is inherent in all the supervisor position not in contingent with you upon the sign receive the responsibility statement that if the persuasion relationship between the person and the property of the position, personal arm of the position, the person direct for the supervision, or arrive at the because of the assignment of the specific position includes providing proper guidance with the direction, enforcing all the security and safety, and counting of the measure requirements of maintaining the proper physical, psychological environment, and proper care with the use of government property, direct responsibility of the relationship between the responsible officer property with the officer has been formed to ask to provide for the care of the custody, inherit in each of the property account, however, each of the may be delegated accountable officer form the written designation issue for the property hand receipt, the direct responsible result of the assignment of the accountable officer receipt with the formal written delegation acceptance of the property hand receipt with the accountable officer include the taking of all responsible prudent and its action to ensure the specified property is properly used and cared for and safeguarded. Direct responsibility formal assignment of the property responsibility personal supply chain who have the property with the custody but not necessarily position of their use accountable officers have the direct responsibility unless they have been specifically assigned with another person accountable officer may delegate such a responsibility written delegation designation by the issue of the property when the hand of receipt personal responsibility issues responsible relationship between the person with the property of physical possession apply with the government and property issue inquired for misappropriated converted with the person exclusive of whether without with the receipt included in taking all the responsibility for actions for the property use for the care of the safeguard property person responsibility always accompany the physical possession of the property command responsibility supervisor responsibility depends on the location of the property with the chain of the command the responsibility is part of the job of the position incurred with assuming the command of the supervisor position and can be delegated reasonable officer is a person who has been tasked with the formal assignment of the designation for the direct responsibility specifically identifies the government property the responsible officer with the designated with writing will be directly responsible for the care of the youth the safeguarding of the property specifically ensured with the custody of the designation accountable to the officer care of the designation responsible officer unless there's some of the other person that has specifically designated the responsible officer regulation with the component with the authority to direct the responsibility imposed through the designation accountable officer if they may delegate such a delegation can only be delegated and counting of the officer must be in the writing no further delegation is authorized. Property issue with the accountable officer hand receipt called with the primary hand receipt with the care with the delegation direct the responsible with the delegation designation responsibility recipient and the responsible officer listed property further hand receipt with the sub hand receipt that does not transfer the direct responsibility not relieve the primary hand receipt signature of their duties the responsibility of the officer employed with the U.S. Army civilian military may designate as the responsible officer responsibility with the rank of the battalion each of the person battalion from the commander and the individual mechanical specific responsibility the organization to the control of the youth for the organization works smoothly each of the person must be the responsibility of the commander set the unit control of the establish the tool room, the adequate security of the unit tools assigned the responsibility of the hand receipt and individual use. Item such as the general mechanic toolkit, the hand receipt with the use of the commander, also responsibility all the tools no further hand receipt with the enforcement supply discipline error or according to the S3 AR-7355, AR-73511, AR-7102, DAPM 71021, conducting command inspection that utilize unit supply sergeant responsibility include the ensuring all the authorized tools that are on the hand correct position, turning access for the tool, conducting inventory, informing the commander of the result of the supply sergeant, also take the account of the tools lost, damage, and destroyed through the other wear and tear before issuing the request of the replacement. The BMO provides the overall management of the battalion tool control department. The BMO managed responsibility include the enforcement commander policies and the implementation activities. Your battalion motor sergeant begins with the battalion headquarters with the tool control program as at the act that heads recipient hold the tool issue for the tool room. The point of the primary alternate tool room attendant for the responsibility included supervising layout, operating of the tool room, conducting daily inspection, determining the staff of the tool, return with the closing time, the supervising inventory there, inappropriate adjustment, documentation, act for the loss for the damage for the destroyed tool room attendant, follow procedure outline with the battalion motor sergeant. Procedure included the accounting of the tools issued by the tool room, check of the condition of the tools before issue with the return pull to putting to the proper after return the use of the cleaning the main tuning tools in the tool room before the motor starting. All the tools not required to be returned by closing time. The individual mechanic sign hand receive the general mechanic tool kit, but the individual will use the item directly for the commander. Keep the tool kit secured with the lock with winning nut and use the store with the lock of the tool kit in the tool room. Conduct the inventory with required relationship between accountability, responsible accountability, pertaining to the maintain format prescribed property record for the property sale account. The obligation officially assigned with a specific person may not be delegated to the responsible pertaining to the care for the custody and safeguarding of the property. The specific type of this responsibility depends on the relationship of the person, property, accountability for the four types of responsibility described above the separate obligation they incur with the separate reason accountable each of the type of the responsibility care specific duties monetary liabilities can be assessed each against any of the person who's vital to the negligence misconduct perform the duties which such the failure of the direct and approximate cause of the loss for the U.S. United States government. Handling or damaged property. Qualified technical inspector of property classification other designated officer personnel qualified with property physical with the hand unserviceable with the general condition appearance of the property will be classified unserviceable throughout the fair and wear and tear. Damage of the property regardless of the federal supply classification may determine unserviceable. Technical inspection may classify unserviceable through the for fair wear and tear if the commander responsible for the property investigated the circumstance for the completion of the commander investigation. One of the following actions will be taken. One, if the negligence, misconduct, not involved, the commander will attach the statement of the maintenance required for the term, the documentation, I have to review the circumstances around the damage of the above the items. Find note of the negligence, misconduct, the commander will sign the comment statement with the appointment of the authority to review the statement that concur with the non-concurring, the appointment of the authority with the concurring, that he or she will enter for the concurring on the statement the sign with the appointment of the authority non-concurring, or he or she will enter for the non-concurring report, survey the statement, and sign it. The commander may request that the maintenance of the activity, actual cause of the damage only with report of the survey included. The commander may support with activity. It will consolidate the cause of the damage through the appointing of the authority of the proving authority as required for the proving authority. For the Army National Guard General, they may authorize the report of the repairing cost of the use of the Property Accountable Manageable Information System, or PAMIS, reporting the procedure of the National Guard Bureau Memorandum 7001, Chapter 18, liability admitted extent of the damage that does not exceed the responsible person will monthly basic prepare the DA Form 362 for the statement of the charge of the government property damage that destroyed the DA Department of Form 1131 cash collection voucher and see figure 47 and 48, page 150 and 151 with liability admitted the extent of the damage exceed the person monthly basic pay to initiate the report of the survey. If negligence, misconduct was involved with liability not admitted to initiate the report of the survey, discuss the next paragraph. No case for the separate the report of the survey to prevail with the same incident unless the damaged property recorded the separate property accounts. When the report of the survey approved of the property relief, the survey officer attached the copy of the report of the survey officer released the statement of maintenance required for the item not economically repairable. They attached the copy of the approval of the report of the survey, but the survey officer released statement, the copy of the maintenance required for the classifying the item, the turn of the document per damaged property, negligent misconduct suspected will not be repaired or disposed of or continued in use until the survey after the preparer's release statement. Or a report of survey, the rest of the lesson and the learning of it and outline with the procedure for the DA Form 4697, the Department of the Army reporting survey that conducts the AR 156 and 156 investigation, liability damage of the property which may be negligent misconduct result of the report of the survey, the section give the general guidance of the person who are initiating a report of the investigation, negligence, misconduct, suspected liability not admitted. DA Form 362, the statement for the change of the charges for the government property loss of the damage destroyed. DA Form 1136-1, cash collection voucher. Survey requirements of report survey. They are 156 investigation. Prepare the sensitive item of the loss of the destroyed. Director of the higher authority. DA director of the property loss to discover the result of the chain of accountability officer inventory unless voluntary reimbursement made. The valve either the damage shortage of the exceed the responsible person's monthly pay. The person responsible admitted liability does not offer the payment of the value of the property. The person admitted the loss of damage destruction exceed the personal monthly basic liability. Total handling the loss of the specific bulk petroleum product is above the allowable loss of the product dollar of the value greater than $250. Processing time. Report the survey initiated presented with the appointing of the authority no later than 15 calendar day after the day of the discrepancy. Discover the appointment of the authority will process the president with the approving authority no later than 55 calendar days after discovered. The appointing officer of authority would complete the responsibility 40 calendar days investigator appointment with the given 30 days to conduct the investigation. Approving the authority received the investigation report after 20 calendar days, including legal review. The process of the total processing time no longer than 75 days. Statement of charge for the immediately upon determining the responsibility should be placed the specific individual survey of the one appropriate the command of the that the statement made with the appropriate clearance of the report of the survey being processed against the individual surveying officer must be given the place for the base from the prejudice and unprejudiced, but must be given the investigation predetermined idea. Surveying the officer determine the actual fact not as well reported as they exist should make the intelligent concise for the statement of his findings loss of the damage occurred with whether the fault neglects the involved in the instance. If the fault cannot be established and surveying, the officer will recommend the individual review the liability of the property after he found with the record of the surveying. Officers make recommendations based on policy with the fourth the regulation place for the responsibility. Some of the individuals above absolving the others of surveying officer and ensure the total cost of the properly computed to cover the loss and damage destruction property being investigated. The survey officer finds that including the decision monetary liability items classified not economical repairable will turn in. Survey officer will recommend the disposition of the property and report. Based on the facts developed by the investigation, survey officer will make the recommendations on, but not limited to, the following: monetary liability, relief of the responsibility, accountability, disposition of the unsurpassable property. Once investigation complete with the survivor, officer will return all the copies of the report along with the exhibits for the appointing authority. The appointing authority review the report, the correctness forward, and approve the authority. The approving authority review all the reports surviving the authorizing of the activity described the lifting of the property for which the responsible. Accountability, approving authority will review reports personally. The authority will not delegate the note of evidence. No negligence will misconduct. Approving the authority must decide whether the evidence submitted with the support decision after reviewing the report with the supporting evidence. Approving the authority may select with the following course action: reject the report and direct the investigation made in the case of the report for the return of the appointing the authority to the appointment of the investigation from the investigation of the report request more data than appropriate, approving the authority with the specific data required. Approve the report complete with the appropriate form of the evidence of negligence, willful misconduct. Approving the authority but to decide: 1. The corrective procedure will be followed. 2. The adequate unbiased investigation has been made with the surveying officer. 3. The recommendation of the surveying officer appointed the authority to include the decision based on the findings. When monetary liability is recommended, the judge advocate with the civilian attorney will review the finding with giving the opposite option for the adequacy of evidence of the property finding before the approving the authority action within the case of the mandatory change with except for the approving the authority will forward the report with the financing and accounting officer. No later than the second duty of the day, but after the day of the approving authority signed with the document the final action. This report with the survey establishes the indebtedness of the person by administrative procedure for the person charged by and be appealed the decision. And that was the last part of your engineer construction equipment maintenance concepts and operation.